This is the Live Well and Thrive podcast, hosted by Michael Torsha, health and wellness expert. It's time to shape up, America.
Hi, this is Mike Torsha, and welcome to Live Well and Thrive. I have a great guest today. He is an amazing young man. His competition that he loves is this slapping contest, which they call power slap, and he's a lightweight, heavy competitor. I think probably champion now, right?
Top five.
Top five. Okay. Well, we'll be a champion soon. Besides that, he's been on CW with the Walker. He played a sheriff on that. But he's just really a great human being. He's got a wonderful story to share, and I thought you'd enjoy him as a guest because he's going to give you some inspiration words on how he was able to get onto TV, how he became successful what he's doing, but also why he's doing this power slap when he's a great-looking guy. I figure if you're an actor, why would you want to break your jaw, mess up that face? So welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's an honor to be here, and I'm so excited to just be able to sit here and talk with you, to be honest. So, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So Klingbeil, right? Is it pronounced Klingbeil?
We're going to roll with it. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Besides my New York accent. Want to pronounce it correctly. But thank you for coming on the show. So what was your driving force to go into a competition where you're slapping each other in the face?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did amateur MMA. I saw this little show that they had that they were talking about, and I had seen some Eastern European YouTube videos and things like that. And so I kind of understood a little bit about what it was. And then I saw that Dana White posted was like, if you're interested, sign up. And it was like it was still Twitter at the time. It was like a tweet or whatever. And I was just like, all right, why not? You know, like I'm an actor. I think it'd be cool to get back into MMA realm and really get my name out there. But also it would be a hilarious like gag reel or something like that to just throw out there and like try and land jobs or something with the acting world. So that was kind of like the motivation. And then, I don't know, I guess I was good at it. Yeah.
No, you're really good at it. I mean, I was watching your videos. I saw you knock out some really big boys. Holy shit. I mean, they crumbled. So is it like, what is the secret? Are you hitting it on a certain part of your hand and where the jaw is to create that knockout? Do you have a science to it, or you just hit as hard as you can?
Well, no, this sounds so funny to people usually, but I do practice, and I used to practice like hundreds of times a week at like a minimum, and I'd aim for 1,000, but you know, you got to like prevent like muscle damage and things like that, because I was using a 225-pound bob, which is, you know, it's like a mixed martial arts dummy for the people that don't know. It's got a water base, and but it's a good gauge of like my weight division, basically, right? It's like, oh, okay, 225 pounds. If I can hit this and I can knock it off or whatever, you know, then I'm doing all right. So, but yeah, no, there's definitely like you can only hit in a certain region, and if you go too high, it's a foul. Too far back, it's a foul. Underneath, it's a foul. So you really have to.
Because you can break the eardrum, correct? If you go too high.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And
wow.
Then we've had 2 occipital lobe fractures. So that's, but honestly, one of them is the champion of his weight division now. So it's like, well, I don't know. Yeah.
So when you're doing it, now I remember when I was working with Bob Wall. He used to train with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And he told me about the 2-inch punch.
Yeah.
Because when Bruce Lee would do the demonstrations and do the 2-inch punch, people would just look at his fist and his arm moving. But he said, Mike, when I do this punch, look at my hips, look at my legs. The force is generated from the torque of the body. It wasn't here. People just thought it was there. No, it's the torque coming from the ground up. So when you're doing that slap, are you actually using that torque you're having from the legs, the hips, into it? Because I'm sure a lot of people could swing hard like that, but I would think it'd be more powerful if you're using the torque of the body. Is that what you utilize?
Oh, 100%. I was blessed to like really be at like an Olympic level of Taekwondo when I was younger, so I kind of like understood the body mechanics behind some of that, but you can't move your feet. So that's like the difficult part that most people struggle with. And the very first time I delivered a slap, I pivoted, which is what you do in martial arts. You want to pivot. That generates so much power. Like you eliminate a lot of power by taking that away, but I found a way to just continue to utilize the hips with the knee movement. So you're kind of leaning into it almost, but you're still
so you have
generating.
to stay flat-footed.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But you can still do that twist and that torque.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like Yeah, but I wind up my body really fast. It's like this whole thing. Everybody's like, oh, he's got the quick wind up or whatever, but it's just to generate that torque so I can turn it over. But
Yeah. So is there a certain type of program you do specifically for that competition?
I work with a guy who works with some of like UFC athletes. His name's Coach Dassault. Yeah, I found him on Instagram, and he was like, I can help you, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. You know, it's just a virtual training, and he developed the program for me. So there's a lot of high intensity like cardio and things like that involved, because I continue to do MMA, so he's like got that blend in there. But you know, it's a lot of cable work, just like generating that torque at like a minimum of 50 pounds, like doing high reps, and then increasing the weight over time. You know, just little dips and things like that. And then personally, what I like to do is I'll do. Oh gosh, I can't think of what it's called anymore. I do it so often, but you're doing like a close grip bench press, and so for me that works. I don't know why, but a lot of people like to do the wide, but I feel like you're eliminating power because you're kind of widening it. So I think by doing a close grip, you know, you're able to generate power here, which is where you know. Where
Yeah, because when you go closer, you're getting more of the central pec.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You go too wide, you're out here. This is where the power is, right there.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you know, because you know the years of training with top pros in the world.
well, yeah.
I learned about it. So how wide you go gets more of the outer. This gets the more of the mid part of the pectoral muscles. You know, so just the way as soon as you turn your wrist, you're hitting in a different area. You're getting lower pec. You know, so you could do reverse bench presses, and that will give you a lot of power.
Really?
Right here. So you take like almost a little bit of almost like shorter than shoulder grip.
Okay.
And you come down and sink down and then explode up like that. See where I'm going with it?
Yeah.
See with the movement?
Oh, it makes
so
sense, yeah.
start doing reverse bench presses. You can start light and work your way up. Like my best bench was a triple 505. But what was so funny was I was able to do a triple with 405 reverse, which is tougher.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something, people were freaking out. Can you do it? But again, I was using the pectorals is a very large muscle group.
Right.
And also the triceps involved. But if you think about it, it's just bringing that up like that is what you're doing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That may actually give you a lot more power. Now, I would do slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fiber.
Right.
So you do the very slow and controlled, and then you can break it down, descending sets, and then do more rapid reps. So
Right.
see what I'm saying? So you're hitting the different muscle fibers. You have the explosive and you have the power.
I love
Same
that.
time.
Yeah.
So I guarantee you try it, you're going to get hooked on it. Your lower pec, you'll get really thick, fuller pecs from the reverse grip. I don't see anybody in these gyms today doing it,
Yeah.
except for Gold's Gym.
Okay.
That is one of the best exercises. But again, a lot of times people are just kind of copying everybody else on Instagram and Facebook when, you know, when you're a real hardcore training gym like Gold's Gym, you're going to see movements you've never seen before on the social media. But that's from old school training that we relied on, not just the machines. Because you got to remember, there was a study done many years ago. They had all these professional athletes, especially football players, just train on selectorized machines.
Really?
They got incredibly powerful, but they lost the eye-hand coordination. Why? Because they're not balancing with the cable or the dumbbells.
Right.
And that's what they found was their athletic performance decreased by almost 30, I think it was 33 or 38%, because now
Golly.
you lost that coordination and balance. That's why it's important using bands, cable, dumbbells, barbells, because you have to balance, okay? But when you're on a machine, you no longer have to do that. You just have to come back in a negative and go to the positive.
Right.
But you're not using auxiliary muscles.
Right. Right.
So that's why I tell people it's good to blend in the machines, but don't rely on just doing a whole circuit workout. You're going to limit the growth factors and everything else that you're doing.
Huh.
You know, and also you got to remember, all your power comes from the negative, because you're 60% stronger resisting. 60%. Like you could cheat a weight up, but take it down real slow, because that's the negative.
Right.
Okay? The negative is what builds the muscle
Okay.
and strength and power. So I would suggest you do some negative training. We have a partner helps you up with it, like on the bench, and then take it down slow, up right away, down slow, and never bounce. You start utilizing negative and positive like that, you'll be the champion in power slap, guarantee it. And those reverse bench, because I've trained with every type of athlete, so I am accustomed to adapting my training program not just for bodybuilders or women that want to get in shape for a movie or model shoot.
Right.
I worked with paraplegics. I worked with people with MS, asthma, you name it, diabetes. I worked with so many people with disabilities that I was able to help them work around their disability to be able to still get incredible results.
My gosh.
So, even breathing workouts. A paraplegic, all he could do was breathe. So I said, well, let's breathe. But the way he breathed, by inhaling and then holding it for a certain amount of time, blowing out, holding it out, stimulate the heart, lung, and circulation in his brain. Did you know, like when you exercise for just 30 minutes, you think exceptionally faster for exactly 3 hours. You increase your brain capacity by like 45%. Because why? Because when you exercise, you increase the blood flow to the brain. So just from that short period of time, you are now improving your ability to focus, retain information. That's why when they removed PE from schools, the kids' grades went down by 40%.
Gosh, yeah.
Your brain capacity increases from just doing 45 minutes to an hour of exercise. Significantly. So that's why it's important to you make sure that you realize the benefits. So like if you say you had to study your lines for a movie, like a lot of the actors, right? When I was training Al Pacino or Matt Damon Matt had so many lines for the Born Identity. I made sure that we did a combination of weights and some car work or some cardio before he'd go in his trailer to memorize. He said, Mike, I can't believe it. I memorized 60 pages. But that's because you're increasing your brain capacity.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a physiological effect. So if you start using these little tidbits, which my AI mic can offer you,
well, yeah,
that's why they'll be helpful. So that's why I'm thinking you create AI, Alan, and your fans and followers or disciples that want to be like you can learn the steps to being a top competitor in power slap, or a top martial artist, or an actor. All they got to do is call your number 24/7. Hey, AI Alan, hey, I'd like to have a routine because I want to get into power slap, but what should I do? How should I eat? And your AI can answer that question.
Oh my gosh. That would be awesome.
Like, okay, so I'm going to call my AI.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll put it on speaker, right? And just ask it a question.
Okay.
Simple question. And watch what it says. Is AI Mike there?
Hi, I'm Mike Torchia's virtual AI, here with Mike's tips and methods to help you reach your potential. Got any questions about fitness or health? Ask away. If you find our chat helpful, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more tips or checking out our merchandise store. Your support means a lot and helps us keep providing valuable resources. Now, let's dive into your questions.
Can you tell me how to do intermittent fasting?
Great question. Intermittent fasting involves cycling between periods of eating and fasting. Start with a simple method, like the 16-8 approach. Fast for 16 hours and eat during an 8 hours window. It's essential you consult with your doctor first before you start on any new health and wellness programs.
What types of food should I eat on a regular basis with intermittent fasting?
Focus on whole foods like lean proteins, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains. Stay hydrated and avoid processed foods. It's essential you consult with your doctor first before you start on any new health and wellness programs.
That's incredible, Mike. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. For more information about my services or to check out my merch, go to operationfitness.com. Keep thriving.
That is insane.
So think about it. Your fans, your followers can call you up and speak to your digital twin. It'll sound like you. I trained this to have authoritative personality because most of the time people need that feel.
Yeah.
I can give it more humor if I feel I like to. But that's what I'm saying. Now you have a tool where people around the world because you got to remember, people around the world are watching these videos of you, the Power Slap. They're probably following you and the repeats of Walker on CW, you know?
Yeah.
So why not have a way to help cover your cost of all of these things for your career? Because it's expensive. Gym memberships and supplements and all the other things you have to do, travel to competitions. Now you have a way to generate money, but also at the same time help people.
I love that.
You know, I did it for me to give it away. I want to help people. That's why I created the show. But I'm sharing this with people because it's a way for you to help people 24/7 in any country around the world, 30 different languages. Like if you had asked it answer in Farsi or answer in Mandarin or whatever language, it would have done that.
That's incredible.
And the good thing about it is it also collects the data and gives you a printout of all the kind of questions they asked about you.
Really?
So if they want you want to know who your fans are, it'll tell you where they called from, so you know what part of the country, and it'll give you a feeling of who they are as an individual, age range, because you can tell the AI can do this with this technology.
Right.
At the same time, you have a tool
Right.
to give back.
Right.
Well, just think about it, because I had like Sean Keenan. He was Michael Barnes in Karate Kid 3, and he's in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And he goes, Mike, I got fans in Greece and Italy and all over asking me questions. They're already building his AI. He goes, Mike, this gives me a chance for my fans to ask me questions about Bold and Beautiful or some of the things I'm doing now. I mean, his book is coming out in a few weeks. So that's what I'm saying. Here's a way your fans could talk to you 24/7 and ask questions.
That is so freaking
And
cool.
learn about what you did. Because think about how did it all start? I mean, did you, as a young man, want to be an actor?
Yeah, I think definitely I don't know, I got interviewed a few times for like local news, and then started doing a little bit of drama throughout middle school and high school, and did some missionary work, and a lot of that was like focused in doing drama to kind of like entertain, which is kind of difficult, to be honest. like some high school kids, to like encourage them to like want to come to a youth group and things like that. So it kind of like just built up over time, but yeah, definitely.
That's great. So you're fulfilling your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And then the martial arts, that was something you started when you were a young man?
Yes, sir.
And you just did it for conditioning and self-defense?
Yeah, I think initially it was like self-defense. I grew up in an area that kind of like was nice, and when 9/11 happened, I had already started doing martial arts, but like a lot of military members left, and there were a lot, and so they moved in. Some people that weren't great, and I had to learn how to defend myself really well, but I also had a great his name was Master Juarez. He was like a 7th degree black belt, and he understood it was like an Olympic program. But the great part about it was like strength, conditioning, discipline, and I would say he really encouraged like academics and stuff. So we always had to bring him our report cards even, and it was like if you didn't do well, then you had to sit out.
Oh, wow.
So it was like he's very old school. Like the whole breaking the boards. Like like one of the cool things was like I got to watch him do it to like get to like the next belt or whatever. Someone like hit a watermelon over his stomach with like a brick on. It was like on top of a brick. It's like smashed it, and he had to like utilize like breathing techniques and everything else to like harden himself. So I'm sure you know the science behind it. I don't, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's just it was that's what led into.
But
the
you know
mixed martial
what's
arts.
wonderful is that prepares you for life.
Yeah.
The discipline, the tenacity, the dedication, and the focus you take from martial arts to apply towards life. Your education, the skill sets you develop, right?
Yeah.
So you could do anything, right? After going through martial art training. Because my sensei, oh my God, man, he was tough.
Yeah.
You don't talk. You don't show any disrespect to any of the fellow classmates. You don't do anything disrespectful. You put everything away. You're very polite. You acknowledge people when you first see them. You bow to them. It's old school, and
Yeah.
And he didn't put up with shit at all. But I tell you, it prepared me for life.
That's awesome.
But it's also good to be able to protect yourself. Because you never know when there's a situation. What he was good about, too, not just the katas and the different movements,
Mm-hmm.
he would say scenario. What if you're walking in the street and it's a bit rainy and you have an umbrella and someone comes with a knife or this or that, tells you what to do. And always it was so funny was, I would say, well, isn't the best thing to run? He goes, yes, but you have to do something to maim them first. So because you're not a fast runner. Especially you, Torsia. You're a fat kid.
Oh, dang.
So you better make sure they can't catch you,
Break those legs.
Right? So, no, he would like break the toe or, he'd
Yeah.
give me examples of some of the things to do with a household item if necessary. But he gave me information how to apply anything as a weapon just to maim them so you can get away. Because, he emphasized the worst thing is a knife. Even a cop will tell you.
Yeah.
A knife or gun, knife is more dangerous.
100%.
Because that's why he said, don't think you're going to be like this tough guy. No, because that's only in the movies.
Yeah.
So he made us be like down to earth, even though we were all getting really good at fighting. He said, you just never know, because street fighting is much different. There's no respect and honor. Like, for instance, I remember he said one time, he goes, the difference between a street fighter and someone that's a trained fighter is, say you're brawling, you're kind of wrestling, whatever, and you see a brick or anything on the ground. You'll say, well, maybe I could take that brick, but gee, if I do that and I hit him, maybe I can kill him, I'll go to jail. The street fighter will take the brick and hit you immediately because they're not even thinking that.
Yep.
Right?
You're exactly right.
So
going for the jugular.
They're just like, no, he's going to say, I got to crush this guy's head. But you'll start to play in your mind all the scenarios.
Yep.
By then, you're done, right?
Yep.
And that's how I feel martial arts is essential. If I had kids, I'd make sure they take martial arts. What you learn from that prepares you for life.
I think so.
So now what's the next step? What do you plan to do? I mean, with the power slap and the acting, are you going to continue really doing a lot more of the power slap, or are you going to focus more on your acting, or do both?
Well, I'm contracted with Power Slap, so I'll continue to fight until that's up at least. I'd like to win the belt because I'm very competitive, and I'm in the sport. I'm in the top 5. I got to win that championship. So, but outside of that, I guess I'm trying to pivot more towards acting. And I've been talking to people, and I don't know. I'm a very ADD kind of person. Just put my hands in a lot of different baskets or a lot of irons on the fire, I guess you could say. But which I really enjoy. It gets me stimulated to have more than one thing and to focus on more than one thing. But someone was like, if you're going to do acting, you really need to fully commit to just doing acting for at least a little while and get more developed in that. I don't know. I picked up a pretty big role. It's a movie that it's probably going to be a streamed movie, but it's a major supporting role. It's like a young guy who's like getting out of college and he's becoming a detective, and he's shadowing like the main character as who is also a detective. It's like a mystery thriller. So I'm very excited for that. But so sometime next year we'll be filming in Greece, which I've never been. I'm so excited about. But things are starting to amp up for me a little bit, and so I guess that's the direction I'm pivoting towards. Is like mostly acting, but if Power Slap calls me, I'm gonna go. So
hey, whatever takes off first, right?
Yeah.
You know what can stem from that. People can come and you say, hey, let's start a school for Power Slap or whatever.
Yeah.
And they create a franchise or a line of merchandise, and they think you're a significant figure. It's not always the champion, but it's the personality of the competitors, because sometimes people might gravitate towards someone that just has this charming, like you wholesome personality that they approach, because I've seen some of these Power Slap guys, and they're a mess.
They're hilarious.
And some of them, you don't even think they lift weights. But they're so damn powerful.
Yeah.
Especially like some of those Samoans. Oh my God.
They'll kill you for sure.
Oh.
Yeah,
and their hands.
They're huge.
Right? It's the size of your whole side of your face, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like the size of your head, man. Like people are like, oh, you got big hands. I'm like, you haven't seen some of these guys' hands. It's just like a sledgehammer.
How do you avoid hitting the ear if your hand's that big, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit. It's some controversy there because we're like, that's a foul. It's like, I don't know, his hand's so big. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, yeah, man.
Man, this was great. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate you coming on and
thank you. Yeah,
and sharing your story. And I'd love for you to come back after you're done doing the movie in Greece and tell us all about that experience. And
I would really love.
Wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, this is Mike Torsia signing off, and thank you so much for watching. And please, we need your support. Please follow, click, and subscribe on YouTube. And if you have someone in your family that you really want to inspire and you enjoyed this episode, share it. Thank you very much.